Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
What's up, my OMI homies and fellow NFT collectors? Welcome back to the vault. Today's video is going to be about low serial numbers in the world of NFTs, particularly on VeVe, and more importantly, how to determine their value. I have to start off the video by admitting that I was very reluctant to believe that low serials were going to be worth more money in the future, and I personally didn't hold on to them for the long term. But now, as I'm watching the market develop and hearing the collecting habits of some of the NFT collectors on the app, it's starting to become more and more apparent that people like Nifty Flipper and the Gale and the Comic Way and NFT Pirates were correct all along, that these low serial numbers are very collectible and they're going to hold more value in the future. Now, how much value they're going to hold, though, is actually very dependent on the edition size of that collectible, which we're going to get to here in a minute. But before I could be convinced that low serial numbers were worth holding on to for the long term, I had to come to grips with how it related to my favorite thing to collect in the physical world, and that's baseball cards. And if you're a baseball card collector, you probably already know that having a low serial number for a card that's serial numbered really doesn't give it a whole lot extra value. So as I began to realize that the low serial NFTs were holding their value, I started to think about how they related to baseball cards and collecting serial numbered baseball cards. And if you think about it, when you go into a baseball card shop, let's say you have a card like this Raleigh Fingers I have here, and it's serial numbered to 799. If I go into the shop and say I want to buy another one of these, most likely they won't even have a copy, but if they do, they'd only have one or two, and the serial numbers wouldn't really matter because that's your only option to buy, so they wouldn't add any value in that case. However, when you're shopping on an NFT platform, you can see everything that's available to purchase at the time, and with all things being equal, let's say the price is all the same, you're going to pick your purchase based on the only thing that differentiates these NFTs from each other, and that's the serial number. And as an NFT collector, the precedent has already been set many times over that the first on the blockchain is most important. You look at CryptoPunks, the first profile picture project to ever hit OpenSea, and now it has a floor price of like 600,000. So it's pretty simple to see that in the world of NFTs, the first to be minted has importance. So whenever that's the only thing you're going by, that's what makes the lowest serial number more valuable. And of course, this trend continues right into VeVe. As you can see, the Todd McFarlane Batman is one of the most valuable NFTs on the platform, even though the edition level has had 7,500 of them. It's the first Batman, and it's the first NFT on the app, and that's what really gives it its extra value. When researching what makes low serial NFTs valuable on VeVe, one video I revisit often is the NFT Pirates video that they did a few months ago called 20 Reasons Why Low Serial VeVe NFTs Matter. And there's a lot of reasons that they pointed out that I didn't even think of. And one important one is that when VeVe reserves collectibles before a drop, they keep the first 40, the first serial numbered 40. They don't keep the last 40. They don't keep any particular serial numbers. I guess those are the ones that they consider most valuable. And you can even see here in a private message between David Yu and Nifty Flipper, a fellow VeVe YouTuber, that when he's talking about which NFTs he wanted to purchase several months ago, he brought up the idea of low serials, and that's the one that made David Yu say, low number is what is the key. So David Yu even says it himself, then you know it's probably true. So at this point, I have no doubt that in the future, these low serial numbered collectibles are going to hold their value and are going to be worth more than the regular serial numbered of the same collectibles. But looking through the VeVe marketplace, you can tell pretty quickly that the value of the low serial numbers is very dependent on the edition size. So for example, this is a common Spider-Man that has a high edition size and has a floor value of 85 gems. I think it's up to almost 100 gems now. Looking at sub 1,000 serial numbers, the 3 digits, you can see the lowest price you're going to see is 900, and there's only one of those, and the next one up is 1,000. So that's almost 10 times the floor price. It's actually more than 10 times, and that's because it's a really high edition collectible. Alright, now let's take a look at a lower edition collectible. That's the Harley Quinn first appearance. It has a edition size of 7,500 and the floor price is around 280 gems. And you have several sub 1000 serial number Harley Quinns in the 600 to 700 gem range, which is maybe only 3 or 4x the floor price. Alright, the next one I want to look at is the Jermaine Rogers Night Watch Bunny, the blue one, and it has a floor price of like $675, and if you look at some of the low serial numbers, it's around the floor price, so it doesn't even change at all. And as I was scrolling through some of the comic book prices today and looking at some of the sub 1000 3-digit serial numbers, you could see between the serial numbers of 700 and 999 that there were several there selling for under 100 gems. So keep that in mind as well if you get one of those on the drop. As you can see, the value of a low serial number is dependent on the edition size of that collectible. There are outliers though, like the Batman Who Laughs. Their floor price is at like 80 gems, but you can get sub 1000 serial numbers for under 400 gems, which is a lot different than the Spider-Man, which is 10 times the floor price. Also, as you probably know, it's not just low serials that have extra value. These are collectibles, and we are collectors, and collectors like to collect particular things. I know I saw one guy who asked me to follow him, and when I looked at his VeVe profile, he said he collect everything with serial number 1964, which of course I remembered because I have a Becky Cloonan number 1964. Not that I was trying to give it to him or anything, but that's why it stuck in my mind. So there's certain years, and you can see when you look into the VeVe marketplace that some of the serial numbers with the years like 1960 through 2021 have higher prices because certain collectors collect those years. People also collect the very last edition number of collectibles. If it's a 10,000 set and you got serial number 10,000, that of course has extra value. Sometimes I like to say about 2 times the floor price on those, but again, it does depend on edition size. Other serial numbers that people like to collect are of course repeating serial numbers like 555 or 8888, and sequential numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4. Those have a lot of extra value. And I did a poll recently on Twitter because I kept hearing that people collected the palindrome serial numbers like 34543, numbers that you can write forward and backwards and they're the same thing. And I was kind of surprised by that, so I wanted to ask around, and surprisingly from my poll, about 25% of collectors, 1/4, 1 out of every 4 collector, would pay a little extra for a palindrome serial numbered NFT. So if you were to get one of those on one of the drops, you don't want to put that at floor price, you want to add a little bit of extra and let one of those collectors scoop it up. Alright guys, those are the main reasons that convinced me that collecting low serial numbers and holding on to them for the future is a valuable and a smart move. Again, you can check out a video done by NFT Pirates a few months ago with 20 reasons why low serial numbers matter in the world of NFTs, and I'll link that in the description below. If you're trying to add to your gem count, keep this in mind about these low serial numbers, because especially on drop day, you can get on to the new listings, you can pick these up at floor price and add a few bucks to them and make a little profit. And you can find a lot of them in the auction house being auctioned off because people don't know what to price them at, so they'll price them at whatever and put them in the auction, and you can go and scoop them up again at floor price or lower and then sell them back and make a little profit. So keep that in mind when you're out there collecting and sniping on the VeVe app, and we'll see you next time on the Vault. Thanks for watching everybody. Bye bye.